who always wore a white suit, which was appropriate for the Deep South. And he always looked rather splendid, you know. Other suits, I think that it's very interesting if we look at what the Duke of Windsor used to wear. He was one of the few men, I think young men, who liked the idea of the double-breasted suit. And I think it's a pity that young men don't wear double-breasted suits very often. But in the 50s, men stopped going into the army in vast numbers. So that's when national service, or whatever it was called, stopped. And I think that's when men began to lose interest or not know about formality in clothes. And I think that people who went into the army, because they had to, because the government said they had to, I think they learned an awful lot about formality. I think they also learned that nothing looks better than a look which is all monocolour. I think that men are lucky in this respect, that if they wear a suit, they're going to be okay. Some people might think it was a bit overdressed, but they will quite respect it for it, and they certainly won't like it. It's a very interesting question to think what will happen to the men's suit. I would have thought by now, in fact, it would have gone. But in fact, it seems as strong as ever. And I think a lot of it is the probity it brings to people who are doing jobs where you want to feel the trust. So basically, it's a badge of conformity, which means it brings safety. The expression safety in numbers must have been coined by a man.
This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero. Go home. Every time I close my eyes, I think about you inside. Hey, your mother giving up on asking why you lie and you cheat and you try to make a fool out of she. Now I can't see where you coming from, but I know just what you running from. And what matters ain't the who's matters, but the ones who stop you falling from your ladder. Come, this ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero. Come home. This ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero. Come home. Yes, this ain't no place for no hero. This ain't no place for no better man. This ain't no place for no hero. Come home.
The first man that inspired me to wear a suit, I guess it was an uncle of mine, actually. When I was about 15, he gave me a suit. He gave me a suit that he didn't want anymore. And I just thought I was the bee's knees. I just thought it was the most fabulous thing I'd ever worn in my life. I got into designing suits because I started working at a little boutique in South Molton Street called Brown's, which at the time was a very, very fashion-forward sort of shop. You know, it sold everything. It was a fantastic shop. I sold clothes, I sold clothes, and eventually I became one of the buyers of that shop. You know, I travelled to Paris, Milan, New York, Tokyo, and it made me want to be a designer in the end, actually. The reaction to us opening a shop on Savile Row was quite interesting, actually. I think the people on the row were didn't know quite what to make of us. I think they thought we were young upstarts, which we weren't. I mean, Savile Row is a fantastic street. It's the most amazing street of tailoring in the world. We would never harm that, actually. We just wanted to do our version of it, and I think we did it quite well, actually. People we were trying to sell suits to, if you like, were contemporaries of ours, actually. You know, we opened a little shop on Savile Row. It was a tiny shop the size of a cupboard almost, you know. And this was in 1992. We were very inspired by Savile Row, obviously. I liked things which are very British. I like British cloth, I like British clothes. And in those days, if you were sort of like youngish, you're wearing clothes like Yohji and Comme des Garçons and Jean-Paul Gaultier. And if you're older, you're probably wearing Armani. And everything was very sort of big and sort of not very flattering clothes, you know, beautiful clothes, but they weren't sort of proper tailoring. And we started doing sort of proper tailoring, and some of our contemporaries came in and sort of started sort of buying the clothes, and they'd get sort of quite a good reaction because, you know, you're wearing sort of these quite sort of baggy clothes and suddenly you're wearing you know, like a tailored suit or a tailored jacket. That's what a good suit's about, actually. It makes you look better, basically. You know? We update our suits and retain the Richard Jaden style very carefully, I think, actually. I mean, a classic suit is a classic suit. It doesn't really need that much doing to it. You know, we'll make it longer, or make it a little bit shorter, or we'll just sort of like make the lapel a little bit wider, or we'll just little things happen every season, which you wouldn't, as a customer, you wouldn't know about. It's just us keeping it fresh. The suit will last forever. It's been there forever, and it's not going to go away. It has to be an important part of the big things that happen in your life, even if you don't wear them all the time. You know, if you get married, you need a suit. If you go to a funeral, you sort of need a suit. If you go out to dinner, you need a suit.
Well, kiss me one more time. Kiss me one more time. Before the sun goes down.
My name is Gabriel Macht, and I play Harvey Specter.
I'm Patrick J. Adams, and I play Mike Ross on Suits.
Okay, you say it. No. You go ahead. No. Say it.
Please.
Welcome to Mr. Porter.
I'll say that by doing the show, I have way more respect and an appreciation for a suit and how it's tailored and how it's made and built. You know, I love the suits that Harvey wears. They're so beautifully tailored. They're just classy and elegant. He's also got this romantic approach. It's bold. It's very presentational in many ways. And they're very comfortable. They're just really comfortable.
If I am going to wear a suit, I'm much more drawn to things like that Harvey wears. The three-piece suit specifically. I love a nice three-piece suit, so it kills me that on the show I don't get to wear one. Maybe by season 7 I'll get to upgrade to a vest. So when I dress nice, I try and dress, you know, in the vein of Harvey. But when I'm dressing casually, it's very much a Mike Ross. You know, on my bike with rolled up ripped jeans and some Converse. I don't spend a lot of time in my life, much to my mother's chagrin, in suits or really nice tailored clothing, although I'm getting a little bit of an appetite for it now, having dressed in it for the show. In my own life, I'm usually barefoot as much as possible and in some sort of old pair of jeans and a t-shirt.
I mean, I used to only wear suits for weddings and funerals, but now I'm wearing a suit every day, and they're smart looking. They make you look smarter. Let's put it that way.
I don't want to move to the sound of the seamsters.
I didn't fold. pushed me around for the last time. It's a fight till the death. It'll take your last breath, but I'll be fine. 'Cause you know.
Since my daddy was a tailor, I seen a lot of suits around the house. Back then, I just loved the fact that like I could run around with just a pair of shorts and topless and play football, really.
We used to get dressed up on Sundays, so it was more for occasions. So when I was younger, so my parents would put us in suits for like Sundays, or if we went for a birthday party.
My first suit, kind of traditional sense, was obviously a bespoke suit made by my dad, who was a tailor. And again, it was one of those things he was forcing me into. And I remember I was very uncomfortable wearing it because, again, I wasn't really a suit type of guy. And I was just like, God, this thing is so uncomfortable. But at the same time, it felt so nice. Like,
do I describe my present look? I'll say casual uniform, where it's something you can wear on a regular basis, but it's also something you can wear for an event, something you can wear just to hang out with friends. A suit doesn't have to be all stiff and rigid, and a suit doesn't have to be all casual. You can have something that kind of creates that balance, that meets in between.
Where I get my clothes, we do travel quite often to different countries, but we make sure one of the main things we do, whatever country we're in, either South Africa, either Holland, or either France, we make sure we visit a flea market and we visit a vintage store. So once we find a really key vintage piece, we bring it home and we're trying to kind of walk around it, like trying to make sure we bring it to nowadays point of view.
People need to have a better understanding of what works for them. So shapes, sizes, and proportion, and just have fun with it. If you're trying to dress like the next person,